Good morning and welcome to the daily cyber briefing for Thursday, the 16th of January. I'm Stephen Ridgway. There is a vulnerability in the Veeam Azure Backup that allows attackers to utilize SSRF and send unauthorized requests. So vulnerability is tracked CVE 2025 23082. SSRF, just as a reminder, because I've never heard much from that for a long time, server-side request forgery. Veeam is I'm sure, well, if you use it, you know exactly what it is, but for those who haven't perhaps come across it or haven't thought about it for a while, very commonly used, very sophisticated backup solutions for almost everything that you would ever need to back up, generally considered pretty good stuff. This vulnerability, obviously vulnerabilities in backup solutions are problematic, especially given that anything to do with backups becomes vitally important as part of disaster recovery, business continuity, ransom, countering ransomware, all those sorts of things. Anyway, if you are using the Veeam product for Microsoft Azure, there is a strong recommendation to upgrade to version 7.1.0.59 or later, where this particular vulnerability has been addressed. So, addressed. Good Lord. Right. So anyway, yeah, if you're using Veeam as your backup solution, patch. Okay. There is also a vulnerability in the W3 Total Cache plugin for WordPress that is affecting all versions of W3 Total Cache up to and including 2.8.1. So the vulnerability is tracked as CVE 2024 12365 with a CVSS score of 8.5. So it is a pretty high severity risk. Excuse me. Vulnerability was publicly disclosed on January the 13th. W3 Total Cache plugin is commonly used. Well, it does what it says on the. It does what it says. It's a cache. That has been patched in version 2.8.2. So if you are on an earlier version than 2.8.2, very strong recommendation to patch immediately. The recommendations are in total are to patch the plugin, monitor for user access levels, conduct some security audits on your WordPress environment. And also, if you're not already doing it, utilize security plugins. Word Fence is one that everybody's heard of. As I said before, we don't condone particular products. There are others out there. Risk assess it and look for the one that has got the best match to your. Look for the solution that's got the best match to your specific instances of risk in your environment. But yeah, those using security plugins for WordPress is a good thing. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Yes, you can set all this stuff to auto update. WordPress, the WordPress environments, in my experience, is not the best when it comes to auto updates. Mostly it does the job. Occasionally you find things sitting there that should have auto-updated but actually haven't auto-updated. So there are occasions when you need to go in and nudge it, and that goes for WordPress plugins, themes, and the WordPress itself. So definitely worth having a look. Make sure that you are actually on the version that you should be on and you're on the version that you intended to be on. But be aware, if you're using that particular plugin for caches, then you need to ensure you are not on a vulnerable version. And then finally from me today, a new adversary group has released configs and VPN credentials for 15,000 FortiGate devices. Yeah, thanks guys. There we go. Right, so basically the information comes in the form of folders named after IP address of the VPN device and the port on which the VPN device is accessed, mostly 443. Within each folder, there is then information around configuration files, so effectively a FortiGate config dump, VPN password files. Some passwords are in plain text, some are encrypted and salted and hashed. However, it appears that the data dates back to a leak from 2022 when a zero-day vulnerability was exploited before a fix had been released. The particular vulnerability rather was CVE 2022 40684. So if you have already been through mitigations after that particular vulnerability and associated exploits, you are probably going to be okay. Certainly, if you have, I don't think there's any indication that there is an uptick in exploit aimed at that particular vulnerability. What we're saying is the data was taken a couple of years ago and has now been dumped. If you have not changed your VPN configurations or your user access credentials since then, you could be in trouble. Expect to see all of the information being used in semi-targeted exploits, but probably just bot-driven exploits. So basically, you can just download this stuff. It goes right through. Here's the IP address. Here's the port. 443, 8443, whatever it might be. Here are some credentials. Go and see what's still. A whole load of this stuff, I think, is just going to be automated attack. So expect that to be thrown at your Fortinet devices ASAP. Hopefully, though, you will have been using multi-factor authentication on your accounts. You won't have static passwords, or if you've just got static passwords, that there is a policy of rolling those over. I know, let's not get started on the whole should we change our passwords or should we not change our passwords. Yes, I've been around that one so many times, and there are arguments both ways. Doesn't really matter. But if your password is now the same as it was when the data was stolen, you are in trouble. So worth having a look. If you're using Fortinet, you were using Fortinet devices at that particular time, it is a possibility that your data has been stolen at that point and may well be swept up in this particular leak. Now it's mainly just publicity for this new group. They're just trying to make a splash. Well, they made a little bit of a splash, but hopefully it won't have too much of an impact on you organizations. So that's all from me for today. Hope you have a good